Hello, babes, dudes, and non-binary ghouls. And welcome to Babes and Banshees and Ghouls. Today we are going to talk about our haunted experiences, crazy Karen stories, do a tarot reading, and if you guys want, we can also do a deep dive in backstories on movies, TV shows, and my personal favorite, of course, creepypastas. And
I love
urban legends
creepypastas.
and ghostesses.
Yes.
I love being in a spoopy.
Right?
Being in a spoopy is just a year-round kind of thing.
I know. And it's like just hearing like random haunted ghost stories and anything like that is like it sends chills down the spine. And I love it.
Being scared in a controlled environment is definitely something that is a lot easier. But then there's also that external fear of like, I have no control over the situation and I don't like it.
Right. And that's kind of how I feel too, because with where I work, it is haunted by two ghosts.
That's fair.
One of them is a little kid, and he has made his presence known to pretty much everybody that works there. And the other one was an old cook that used to work there, too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know about the old cook, because I know that there had been times, especially like when you work graveyard, because, you know,
I've worked graveyards.
Yeah, and when you work graveyards, especially when cleaning the rooms, like you'll hear people walking up and down the hallway and there's nobody there.
Yep.
Or anything else like that. And so it definitely adds a little bit more of like that eerie factor, but it also doesn't help that like it's a very poorly lit.
Yeah. Like at night it is very poorly lit, but at the same time, working in the diner, I just got done doing up all of my dishes. And this was like back when I first started working there and had no clue that it was haunted.
They just blindside you with ghosts.
Yeah. Well, I just got done doing up all of my, like, I just got done getting the bar rush where I had everybody come in at once and try to get up all of their food and everything. I mean, it was fun. It was a challenge. And I mean, I did it. Yeah. But I was like,
excuse me.
But I was like, okay, well, I ended up getting their food done. And then they all left. I got all of the tables and stuff cleared off. I was in the process of doing the server dishes and the cook dishes because you're the only one there. So you're doing
doing multiple people work while being by yourself, which
it's fine. I mean, because in a way, I do prefer to work alone because a lot of the times I work better by myself. Now, on, like, super busy days, I would like to have some help, yes. But it's like, if I know I'm going to be there by myself, I just prefer to be by myself.
Well, it kind of goes back to the, like, control scared kind of thing.
Yeah.
Of, I would like to be able to have control over my environment, but your presence is making it harder for me to have control because you're not doing things that I want, like, that I would do it that way.
Exactly.
And it is incorrect, and I don't appreciate it.
Exactly. And, well, this particular night, I just got done with bar rush. I mean, the diner's a disaster, and of course, you know, I'm by myself, you know, so it's like I've got plenty of time. I had a few hours before morning came in, so I was like, okay, let's get, you know, my tables cleared off, let's get them wiped off, let's get my floors done, let's get my grill bricked, garbage taken out, like, let's try and get this place fucking cleaned up before my morning crew comes in.
Try and get as much accomplished as humanly possible so that way I don't have to be here later than I have to be.
Exactly, which I have no problem with in case I miss a few things, because, you know, it's like, the morning crew is particular on how they want the diner to look, which is fine. Yeah. I mean, everybody has their own particular way. Well, I just got done doing a few cook dishes in the back.
Yeah.
And I had them sitting in the rack to dry, and I went up front to go unload the sanitizer and then, you know, reload it again with more dishes when all of a sudden I heard clanging like a metal pan hit the ground. So, of course, I'm startled. Well, it startles me. And I was like, what the heck happened? You know, so, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe I didn't put it in the strainer very well. No. It was like in the rack, like completely in the rack, and somehow this pan came out of that rack and hit the floor, and I'm thinking, what the heck happened?
Like, I don't want to make more dishes, and how dare you make me have to rewash? Like, I've got things to do. Can you do spooky things elsewhere?
Well, he decided he wanted to let me know he was there and decided to dirty up one of the pants that I already cleaned. So I was like, ugh. All right, so I, stuck it in the soapy water, kind of got it cleaned off. Or I got it cleaned off again, even though it was already clean. I just cleaned it up a little bit, stuck it in the sanitizer water, stuck it on the shelf. Next thing I know, he's knocking cutting boards off the shelf. I'm like,
oh my god. And it's like, dude, I've got so much to do.
I was like, I get it. You're probably... And when I found out that I was a little kid, I was like, okay. And they're like, oh yeah, he likes to play with a bouncy ball.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, that's fine. Well, a lot of the times he'll bounce the ball and it'll get stuck behind our stuff. So, of course, the only way for him to get it back is by knocking stuff down. So, yeah.
Oh, my God.
So he lost his bouncy ball behind the cutting boards, knocked down the cutting boards, and yeah, I was not too thrilled about that. But I was like, at the same time, he's not messing with me. I'm not messing with him. Like, I'm not taunting him or being mean or anything. I'm just letting him do his thing. And every now and again, I'll hear a little kid giggle. It's like, okay, he's having a good time. Yeah. He's taking care of himself. So I was like, he's fine.
Because I know that, given these situations, it definitely is one of those of, like, I appreciate you letting me know that you are here, but I have so much to do now, I cannot handle this.
It's like, can you please not knock my dishes down to make me more dishes? I just want to get my stuff done so I can go home, go to bed. I'm exhausted at this point.
Right, I'm exhausted. I'm just waiting for my relief to come in. I want this done because I want to go home and not be on my feet anymore.
Yes.
Those last 2 hours at work, that's all you think about is, I just want to be not on my feet anymore.
Yes.
And honestly, that kind of, leads up to one of the things that I was going to tell you about. It's like, dude, please don't... there's so many steps leading up to that point before I'm like, okay, obviously I need to be uncouth here, if you will.
Right.
I'm not getting drug out in handcuffs by cops or anything else like that. I'm not absurd, but I'm definitely
You make your point known.
Yes.
When it comes to situations.
It was one of those days, because it was when I was still bartending at the last bar I was at.
Okay, yeah.
Yes. And I had worked a day shift. See, there you go, causing shenanigans on a metal desk.
It's not my fault. I tried.
I had worked day shift that day, and...
Yeah.
So, because the last bar I was at, it's 12 miles from where I lived. So when I got off work, I knew that I would have to drive back to the house, pick up my partner, and pick up our former roommate, and go to Walmart.
Right.
It's always a Walmart.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't mind Walmart, but it's every time you go in there, you say, I'm only going to get a few things. But every time you walk out with more than what you need.
Oh, every time. Every time you walk out more than with what you need. And I don't know what it is about that place, but my asshole itches the whole fucking time I'm there. But the second I walk out the door, fine. I'm fine.
There's also a conspiracy about Walmart.
Oh, girl.
I will have to get into that later, because that's a whole...
Yeah, that's a whole thing.
I wouldn't say it's a deep dive, but it's a conspiracy of why people spend so much more time and so much more money in Walmart.
It's because of the color coordination and the lack of windows. You lose track of time.
Actually, Shane Dawson, I don't know if you've watched him, he actually did a conspiracy about grocery stores. Walmart especially.
Honestly, that's fair. That is completely fair.
Mm-hmm. And of course, I love watching Shane Dawson,
Oh, yeah.
And I love his conspiracy theory movies or videos. But yeah, he had a conspiracy about why people spend so much more time in Walmart.
Honestly, and that would make sense.
Because...
to be able to go through and...
Well, and if you think about it, you want to go in for a specific, we'll say, video game.
Yeah.
Where's the video games located?
All the way in the back.
In the very back of the freaking store. So, of course, what do? You walk...
Everything. All the groceries, the clothes, and... Oh, weird. The cardigan I did not go in to go buy.
Exactly. So...
But it's a cute cardigan.
It is a cute cardigan, honestly.
It's a good cardigan. I love a good mom sweater, and I love a good bargain. That's probably the only reason Walmart gets my money, is because they got those rollback sales. I'm sorry, but times are tough.
Yes, and the sleeves aren't chewed off.
Right, yeah.
Yet. Yet. This
Unlike
thing's
my
ain't chewed
Goosebumps
off
hoodie.
yet.
To be fair, it is 9,000 degrees. I am not wearing my Goosebumps hoodie. So
Fair.
like, it is too. You will not be seeing the Goosebumps hoodie until it starts cooling down a little bit.
I was going to say, not until about October is when we'll see the Goosebumps hoodie come out again.
Or the hoodie that I live in. Swamp coolers. I will wear the Goosebumps hoodie because I would rather put on layers and have a cool house.
Yes.
But anyway, so I had already worked a very long shift. I think at this point, because I had come in, it was 10 a.m. and I didn't leave until like 7. So it was a long day. And I can't remember, there was an event going on, so I was packed, I'm tired, my social battery went from here at the start of my shift to obliterated because I was on like 13 days straight because it was me and 2 other girls, and the other girls had been there for 10 and 11 years respectively. So they had been there for a while, and at that point I had only been there for a year and a half. And so I'm like, I'm tired, I want to go home, I want to not be a person.
I don't
right
want to people anymore.
Yeah, and it was my Friday, but I was like, if I get this knocked out, I get to spend my 3 days off doing absolutely nothing and get to kick up my feet and play my stupid little Stardew Valley. Because that game
is your crack.
So addicting.
It is your crack.
It's my wallpaper, it's my ringtone, I have conspiracy theories on it.
Honestly,
I have deep dives on that. Like, that game has consumed me.
I mean, I can't really say much because I'm the same way with Resident Evil, because come to find out, they're coming out with a part 9.
There you go.
And it's going to have, from what I've seen, don't know yet because it's not coming out until like next year.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay with. But according to everything that I have seen, is that it's going to have Leon again in it. Don't get me wrong, I love Leon.
Yeah.
He's like the fucking badass character.
Yeah.
In part 4. He is the badass character in part 4. But they're also going to have somebody else.
Jesus, how much hair do you have?
And miles long. You want some? You want some?
Yes,
we'll
yes
give
I
you
do.
some.
I didn't want to cut my hair.
But you had to because it was so unhealthy.
I'm going to dye my hair and then fall asleep with dye in my hair.
That's your fault for falling asleep with dye in your hair as well. But here, you can have the ends.
You know what? Deal. I need to trim your hair. But
then there's another character that I think it was from like one of the Chronicles that's going to be like the main character, and Leon's going to be like the AI character.
Oh.
But I'm not sure. And honestly, I'm kind of excited about it. So we'll see if it's up to the hype, because I mean, I'm going to honestly agree with you. I was disappointed in part 3, the remake.
Yeah.
What took me months, if not maybe a year, to complete the original, between getting chased by the nemesis, the dogs, the birds, those everything.
Well, you got
plus
every
the puzzles
achievement.
And the puzzles.
Yeah.
Like, it took me months, if not a year, to complete just the storyline itself, the story game. It took me a while.
Yeah.
That and the Gravedigger. Freaking worm. He was mean. It took me forever to beat the original. It took me less than 8 hours to beat the
I need to
remaster.
stop being so careless about how I'm picking that up, because that is a heavy mug and I almost just dropped that, and we have a lot of expensive electronics in here.
Yeah, bitch, hold the handle.
Hold it like an adult.
I mean, mine don't have a handle. It's just a cup.
Oh, like, look at this. It's the size of my phalanges.
I know. Mine's bigger than my phalanges.
That's fair.
But
I just stocked those.
Well,
so,
you're welcome.
But speaking of, like, stocking and stuff like that, so, you know, I go pick them up. We get to the Mart of Walls.
Ugh.
And so
The fun part.
the former roommate, he goes and grabs his stuff. Because I think all we needed there, because at the time they only had a couple of things that we actually needed from Smith's or from Walmart. So we would go pick those up, and then we met up at the front desk self-checkout thing. And you know how they've got the self-checkout people, but they cannot leave. They cannot leave that spot.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, if you want them to, they can't.
Yeah.
Because, like, I didn't necessarily become a Karen to the worker, but this girl, like, she had to have been 17. She's just a babes. Like, she looked very young.
Right.
And this guy, you can tell he was an older gentleman. He had gray, like, salt and pepper going on.
Okay,
but
so
he
he
had
was...
to have been, like, 6'4". So he had that intimidation factor.
Oh.
And you know me.
Right.
I fight God himself. I don't care. I mean, I'm 5 foot tall even. Like, 5 foot on the dot. I am a small woman.
And I have seen you go up against men that are about 7 foot.
And you have seen me win those.
I literally watched you pick up a man and throw him out the bar.
Well, he had warning. You get warnings. I give you multiple warnings. And one of your first warning when I am bartending, when I've had enough of you, is you get a glass of water. Mm-hmm. You get a glass of water, I do not say anything, and I do not come back for your drink. You get a glass of water, because that means I'm done, and I don't want to hear it anymore.
Yes.
But he is in this poor girl's face, yelling at her.
Oh, no.
Yeah, this poor babes. Like, and you can tell this is her first time in customer service. She doesn't know what to do, and you can tell it's her first time by herself.
Right.
Like, she has no idea. So she's telling him, it's over on aisle 13. So, like, me, being me, I am like, yeah, it's... My God, you are so correct. Holy...
I just looked over and I noticed it was sticking out.
I'm like, I'm still kind of quiet. But no, now I can actually hear it.
You didn't shove it in the hole hard enough.
That'll teach me. You would think I would know how to do that by now.
You would think.
But...
Anyway.
So she's telling him it's over, like, on this
It's
aisle.
on a certain aisle.
So at this point, I'm, like, listening because, like, this guy has no business being the way that he is right now.
Right.
Like, I'm sorry, but if you go in somewhere, you have no reason to square up with an actual child.
Yeah.
A child. You have no business doing that. Like, I don't care how bad your day was. Like, you cannot look at that child and be like, you know what, I'm going to scream in their face because I can't find something. Use a common denominator. Let's put 2 and 2 together.
Like, use your fucking head and realize that you're bigger than she is. You're intimidating her. You're making her feel uncomfortable by yelling at her.
Yeah.
When she doesn't quite understand what's going on because...
Yeah.
I mean, if it was her first time working in customer service, it can be scary, yes. I will admit.
First time? There's been more than a few times when I first started working customer service where people had, like, gotten in my face and started yelling at me and stuff, and I backed down. I was like, well, I don't know what to do here. Now, I'd be like, sir, you don't need to talk to me like that.
It's like, you don't need to yell at me like that.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely. Like, now that I am in my 30s and have that confidence of being like, no, you do not get to belittle me.
It's like, yeah, I may be a tiny fucking woman, but at the same time, I'm going to stand up to you like I'm a 10-foot tall gorilla.
Oh, yeah. And my confidence is going to instill fear in you because every time you back down. Every time. And so
and they think that every time you back down, whether they're 5 foot or 6 foot or even fucking 7 foot.
Yeah.
It's like every time they think that they're above you, but they still think, I'm going to sit here and yell at you and belittle you and everything else. It's like the second you cower, they got you.
Well, and the worst part is, though, is, like, he was asking where gauze was. Now, let's think about this logically. Gauze would be over by medical supplies, correct?
Yeah, it'd be in the first aid section of the store.
Right next to, I don't know, maybe the pharmacy?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so...
it's like, that's in all of the stores.
Where I finally lost it is he goes, nobody wants to work anymore. You're just being a lazy, titled... It, like, starts calling her every name in the book. I flip around. And I'm like, excuse you don't get to talk to her like that. Because, like, I don't work at Walmart. I already quit that place.
Right.
I quit that not very gracefully. So, like, don't lead by example here.
I mean, at least put in your 2 weeks notice and let them know, like, I'm done.
Oh, I did not do that. I threw my uniform at my boss, and then I called her ACU next Tuesday. So, do not do that.
Yeah, don't do that, because you will burn your bridges and not be able to get a job again.
It's Walmart. I don't want to work there again. But, like, I'm not going to lose my job at Walmart for squaring up with this man. But this girl has no room to be able to stand up for herself in this position because at the end of the day, like, you have to be very full of couth with how you stand up for yourself in customer service.
Yeah.
Because it could cost you your job. Like,
it can.
Yeah. And so, with that being said, that's one of those situations where, like, I flipped around and I just started drilling into this man. I was like, who do you think you are? You are a grown adult. That is obviously a child. How did, like, and I am, like, escalating in octaves.
Right, because it's like, how would he feel if that was his daughter
Yeah,
that was
exactly.
working at that store and she was getting belittled by, you know, a man?
Exactly. Because, oh,
That is you.
Oh. Anyway.
Still sent a very strong vibration.
Yeah. Now you actually have a vibration on you. Okay. But
Apparently it only wants to give you that little tingle sensation when when you least expect it.
No joke. But this guy, like, I begin to start calling him a child, and he's like, what? Oh, let me guess, you don't have a job either. And I was like, no, I have 2 jobs, because at that point in time, I was working at multiple bars to be able to sustain certain finances that I had lost during my mom's passing.
Right.
And trying to regain, just trying to keep myself busy, because I didn't know how to handle that, so the only way I knew how to handle that was throw myself into work.
Right, like
So-
that's your coping that is your coping mechanism, because that's honestly what I did when my mom passed away.
Yeah.
I was still upset, I was still hurting, and I was still crying, but I threw myself into work, so it was
Yeah.
the only thing I could do.
Mm-hmm.
The only bad part about it was I worked graveyards, I'm there by myself, and I had no grill, so I couldn't cook food and get
Yeah.
customers in
So
to
you're
distract
just
me.
stuck there
So I was
with
stuck
those
there with my thoughts,
Yeah.
but I did tell the boss I was taking in my computer so I could have a bigger screen to watch like my movies and stuff on, because I couldn't do prep. It would have gone bad. Like, I couldn't do anything, so I was like, I'm just literally just sitting there.
Working off of a fryer and hopes and dreams.
Exactly, and a small little griddle. So I was like, I'm taking in my laptop because I need something else to distract me. If I'm not going to have customers that are going to distract me, I might as well have, movies or YouTube videos or something to keep me distracted. And I did that. I listened to a lot of the Shane Dawson podcasts and conspiracy theories, and there is a lot we could learn from Shane Dawson and his podcasts.
Yeah, exactly. And honestly, I feel like, especially with us kind of like coming into the game a little bit later than other people have, then obviously like there are bits and pieces that we have inquired from people that we idolized and things like that. Like for instance, like I know that both me and you are fans of Bailey, and
my god, I love Bailey.
Oh, I love Bailey.
Her makeup murder mysteries. Oh my god.
Oh, I know.
And her makeup though.
I know. I didn't do any makeup at all today.
Neither did I, honestly.
To be fair, for me, it is now.
It's your
2
bedtime.
a.m.
It's your bedtime.
It is past my bedtime. You are just waking up.
I was gonna say, I'm roughly waking up about now.
Yeah.
So it's your bedtime. I'm waking up, but like Bailey Sarian, love that woman. Her makeup's always stunning when she does it. I want to learn some tips and tricks from her. Maybe like not pay attention to the murder mystery and just watch how she does her makeup, because I want to learn how to do it like that.
Don't let me forget to get new eyeliner, actually, because I had just gotten a new little tub of eyeliner.
Okay.
You know how I get the jars that have the little brush in it, so I can have a little bit more control, because I do very thick, heavy makeup.
Yes.
And so with
but
me
it always
doing
looks
that,
good.
The brush did not have any of the fur, so I can't use that. So I've just been like trying to test out of all the makeup brushes I have, which one's like semi okay.
Right.
So now I'm back to preteen me putting tape on my base and just smearing it across. Like, I've hardly done my makeup, and I tried like the last 3 days. I need makeup wipes too. We're making a grocery list.
I mean, we might as well. We need a makeup list of everything we're going to need to make our makeup look as good as hers.
But hey, that also allows us to be able to like circle around. So this dude, he's telling me how nobody wants to work anymore or anything else like that.
Right.
Just going off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, she's at work right now. I just got off work. He has a job. Like, your excuse is null and void. You cannot yell at somebody while they are at work that nobody wants to work anymore.
Yeah.
You are the reason that nobody wants to keep these jobs anymore.
Yeah, it's
People like you make this job miserable because the customers
you're doing
right.
nothing but yelling at them and belittling them. It's like, they're just doing it so they can make money, because she might still be in high school. Yeah. She might be saving money to go to college.
Or she might be freshly in college trying to just kind of
Like,
Excuse you. Trying to get a little bit of extra funding. For
exactly, because,
you know?
I mean, college is not cheap, let
No.
alone books.
No, because I've got the master's degree,
Right.
and I got lucky there because my college closed down before I fully received my degree, so I essentially got most of my master's for free. Free 99. That's my favorite price.
I mean, who doesn't love free 99
Well, I mean,
these
when
days?
you close down your doors without even telling the staff that
Or
you
students.
they didn't tell the staff, they didn't tell the students, nothing. Just got an email. Like, we didn't know, the students didn't know that the college had closed down until a week after when we were doing our finals, and we couldn't submit our finals. So we're all calling our professors, and they're like, "Why are you calling us?" And we're like, "Because we can't submit our exam."
It's
Yeah.
like,
Anyway, you want another story about how I became a Karen? It's, hey, I'm paying $45,000 to fucking be here,
right.
and nobody's communicating anything.
Yeah, for
And
real.
then finally, I got a letter stating that they had closed down. So I didn't actually, because they didn't hold up to their end of the contractual agreement.
Right.
Like, had I have flunked out of all of my classes,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah.
I mean, I could see that, but at the same time, it's like, you were studying so hard for your
like
degree.
Dean's honor roll and presidential honor roll almost every semester. Like,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would they want to get pissy with you over that?
yeah. And, you know, like, as far as, like, me being a Karen, the other Karen aspect that I have here is that the whole time we were growing up, they tell you, you need to get good grades in high school, you need to go to college, you need to do these things.
Yeah, like, that's what, that
I
was
did
implanted
those
in our
things.
brain at a young age.
Yeah, exactly. And I did those things, and I'm still not where I had wanted to be at all, even though I did everything correctly.
Exactly.
And over the past, 3 years,
So-
I have put in over 400 applications, and the highest paying thing I could get is where I'm at now,
Yeah.
which is absurd. I'm sorry, like, because I've got the experience to back up the degree as well.
Exactly. And it's like, even though you technically didn't graduate college, but it's like,
I was a week away.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
literally just had to submit my finals test, and then I was in the clear. And my finals was telling me that I was already at 100%.
Exactly. So it's like, why won't they accept that?
But, so this dude, he's going off, and I was like, do you need your hand held? Like, do you need me to hold your hand and guide you and put them in your iris to be able to see where the gauze is, where this is at that you're
Yeah,
looking for? What do you need? Why are you freaking out on this poor girl? And, like, you can see the relief in her face, because I can stand up to him. I'm not going to lose my job. I'm going to be just fine.
Right. I mean, because you don't work there, so it's like,
Yeah.
what does it matter if
And-
some random person is sticking up for her or not?
And even if it did circle back to my boss, at that point in time, I was getting paid to be mean.
Exactly.
Or not necessarily mean, but be able to stand my ground.
Yeah. It's
Like-
like being a bartender. That's what I liked about being a bartender, is being paid to stand your ground and being kind of a dick to those people that were being absurd with us, especially one of them.
Oh, God. That whole fiasco.
That was the one that you threw out of the bar.
Yeah.
Did I tell you what he did, though? So that night that when you were working the morning shift and then I came in and relieved you,
Yeah.
and you told me that you'd already done cut him off because he was too
Yeah.
drunk to
Oh, yeah,
function.
that's the day that he had 3 glasses of water, but I couldn't kick him out because his brother-in-law was right there.
And his sister.
His brother-in-law was our boss.
Yeah.
So you guys know. Which is why I could not physically remove him at that point in time. Otherwise, I would have. And now he lives a block away from me. And every time he sees me, he's like, "Oh, hi, Mariah. It's good to see you." And every time I see him, I flip him off and I tell him I hope he gets hit by a bus. And every time he.
But
thinks
also,
we're
I'm
friends.
sure the brother-in-law would have loved to see you throw him out of the bar.
No, he did. Remember, because he called me about it on the security camera.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
It's like, you could have been a little bit more gentle and you didn't have to throw his phone, because now I have to buy him a new one. I'm like, not my problem.
Right? It's like he
Maybe
shouldn't have been a
don't
douche.
Suck. Sorry. Yeah.
Right.
So that was that when he had started just absolutely trying to like belittle you and was like saying absolutely like obscene things, or was it when he was sexually harassing you?
Mixture of both. So, after you get off your shift, and of course you go home because you had stuff to do, and you're like, I'll come back and visit you a little later.
Well, I want my French dip and my Mac bite.
I mean,
I'm a woman of very middle class standards.
Fair. And honestly, their French dips and their Mac bites were fucking bomb.
I still have a hankering, but I don't want to go in because I don't want him to be like, hey, do you want to come work for me? Because I know I'm not going to be able to say no, but I don't want to.
I mean, I was the same way because I told my hubs that I sent him a text message when I was getting off work, and I was like, do you want food or anything? And he's like, not from the diner. So when I got home, I told him, I was like, you're going to be mad at me. And he's like, why? And I was like, I have been craving the hot wings and the egg rolls from there.
Yeah, but I also don't want she who shall not be named to touch my food.
Fair. Did you know that she's been giving out raw food?
Did you know that she is no longer the manager?
Oh, I know. That's why John wanted me back.
Oh, I bet. Shocker. It's almost like he should have given you that position in the first place because he lost out on 3 bartenders at the same time.
Oh, yeah. And a lot of his clientele, too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Now I'm seeing a lot more of our regulars and they're like, oh my god, I haven't seen you. And I'm like, yeah, because I've been working remotely.
I've been there for a little bit. Yeah, you were working remotely.
I worked remotely for about 1.5 years.
It was an okay job.
It was...
But at the same time, it's like, I guess it was taking a toll on you, because it's like...
Yeah.
It's like, for a lot of people, when they want a job, they want to get out of the house. There are some people that have no problem being in the house.
It was a high-stress, go kind of job, on top of not ever being able to fully leave your work environment. Like... My work setup was also next to where we would spend family time together and also where, like, we would play our games. Like, all of that was... So, like, I felt guilty about having my whole house on lockdown and not being able to make a single sound.
Which I find kind of messed up, to be honest.
Yeah,
But at the same time, it's
so
like...
stressful, especially because you've seen how reactive Zelda is. That fart's a block away, and she's screaming at the whole neighborhood.
I know, it's like, I show up to the door, she barely sees my shadow, and she's like, oh my god, there's somebody here, freaking out, and it's like...
And, like, I even prep her for that, of like, hey, baby, people are coming.
Exactly, but it's like, at the same time, it's like, she just... Yeah.
These chairs are not comfortable, by the way, they are just those little wooden chairs, and none of us know how to sit like a proper adult.
No, we like to sit like little kids, honestly.
My ankles are cold, but everything else is hot. By the way,
my toes are cold.
All day at work today. Because you felt how warm it was outside.
Yes.
Even in the middle of the night. It was still warm.
It was still very warm.
Yeah.
But I think it's because of the rain, though, is why it made it so humid.
Oh, yeah. And I love the humidity because it does wonders for me being a salamander, essentially.
Same.
But when I checked my weather app at like 3 o'clock this morning, it was still 70 degrees, which is very hot for our area. But they had the heater on 78 all night long.
Ugh.
This is the coolest I have been all day. I have been sweaty.
Fair.
I don't like being sweaty. Like, that was going to make me mean in and of itself because I don't like getting hot. I don't like sticky. I don't enjoy... That's why I live where the air hurts my... But I don't like being too cold because if I get too cold, then my flanges don't want to work.
I'll make it sticky.
Hey.
Hey. Anyway, so, back to that.
Yes.
So, you left to go take care of your stuff, and you said that you kind of told me when you'd be back, but I also told you message me when you're on your way back so I can kind of get started on your food, so that way by the time you got there to get it, it was still hot and fresh, and all you had to do was just stuff your face.
Yeah. And I'm definitely, because I also think that, if it was a morning shift, that was also one of the weeks that we didn't have the nuggets, so I had a lot more availability.
Yeah, and that's when you were able to come in and hang out and chit-chat with me and talk to a lot of the nighttime regulars that loved us.
Sometimes I miss bartending.
I mean, I do too, to be honest. Anyway, so I'm standing there talking to one of our favorite regulars.
Mm-hmm.
And he was sitting there telling me how he just barely bought me a shot, of course.
Yeah.
I mean, every now and again I would have taken the shot, but it's like at that night I was like, something felt off.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll just
I need to be fully here.
So I was like, I'll just take a drink chip, and I had it sitting off to the side.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'll just, save it for later or whatever. Yeah. Or have it later, but right now something didn't feel right. All of a sudden, he comes walking in.
Oh my God, after I had cut him off?
So, this is about 8:30, 9 o'clock-ish. So this is like later in the night.
Yeah.
And he comes walking in. He is still stumbling.
Oh.
Cannot stand up straight.
So that meant that he had continued drinking at home before
He must have
back.
continued drinking at home before he came back into the bar.
Oh
So, of course, he's standing there all, and asked if he can have his nightcap of, his vodka and cranberry. And I told him no.
Yeah.
Like, no. I was
He
told
had
not to
already
give you hard liquor, so I'm not giving you hard liquor. Because I'm not going to be the one responsible for anything that happens to you.
Yeah. Our boss had specifically put in a rule that this guy, we were not allowed to give him hard liquor. He was only allowed to have beer. He wasn't allowed to have vodka. He wasn't allowed to take shots. Like, you're a problem when the owner is like, they can only have beer. They cannot have anything else. Like,
yeah.
At that point, you should realize that you are the problem.
Beer, soda, or water. That's all he was able to have.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he comes stumbling in, asks for his nightcap, and of course I told him no.
Yeah.
And then he goes, well, can I have a beer then? And I'm looking at him as he's, and I'm like, no, I'm not giving you a beer.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not giving you no alcohol. I'll give you water or a soda. Because you've already been cut off for the day.
I'll even be fancy and give you a flavored soda water. I've
Right?
got syrup.
I've got, grenadine I could throw in there for you. But no, I was like, I am not giving you any more alcohol because you're still stumbling. Like, you had a hard time walking in through my front door.
Yeah.
To get the beer.
Yeah.
So I told him no. And then he threatened to call his sister on me. He was so drunk. He was standing there holding his phone, trying to unlock
do you want me
it.
to call her to help get you a ride home?
And so, me being the dick that I am, I grabbed my phone out of my back pocket. I'm like, do you want me to call her for you?
Yeah.
And he kind of just stood there.
She's gonna know that we're justified.
Yeah.
She doesn't she knows that
She
whenever
knows.
we made a decision, she stood by us on that
Oh,
decision.
yeah.
Which I'm super thankful for, because...
Same. I mean, especially when it came to her brother, because she knew that he's a problem, especially when he has hard liquor.
Yeah.
So, he, literally, this is him. Trying to, and I'm like, dude. So I grab my phone out and I'm like, do you want me to call her for you?
Like, I will, because obviously you're hammered and need a safe ride home. Like, I'm gonna wake her up out of a dead sleep. She's not gonna be thrilled about it. But
She's not gonna be happy, but at the same time, it's like, she's gonna come and take care of her brother.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then, he got mad at me. After he threatened to call his sister on me, he got mad at me, turns around to walk out the door, has his hand on the door to open it up, turns around, looks at me, calls me the C word, goes, you're a catch you next Tuesday, turns around to the door, goes to walk out, and of course, me being me, I yelled, proud to be one.
Yeah, I would rather...
So, as soon as I said, I'm proud to be one, he hadn't even taken a step out the door when he got so mad, he almost fell out the door.
I mean, that would have solved your problem.
I'm sitting there just laughing because, he almost fell out the door because the door kind of caught his foot.
Yeah.
And, so he yells that at me, almost falls out the door. I'm sitting there just laughing, and of course, our regular that we love so much.
Yeah.
Looks at me and, he was appalled that he said that to me. He was like, and I looked at him and...
Yeah.
And I was like, are
naturally,
you
no,
okay? And he was like, he had no right calling you that.
Yeah.
And I looked at him and I'm like, Chuck, you can call me any name in the book. It won't faze me.
Yeah.
I am so calloused with being called names.
Yeah.
You could You call me, the C word. You saw my reaction?
Yeah, exactly.
I told him I'm proud to be one because sometimes I can be one.
Honestly, because that's one of those ones that, like, even if I'm called a name or anything else like that, I will say younger me took it personally. But now I'm at that point where I'm like, okay,
Same.
Come up with something original.
Right.
Like, tell me something that I haven't heard before. Tell me something that
something that's gonna wow me. Like, oh my god, I can't believe you said that to me. But it's like, at the same time, they want to sit there and continuously use the names that we've been called so many times in our lives. It's like, bro.
Yeah. Like,
come up with something different. Come up with something original.
Yeah, like, let's be original here.
Yeah, like, let's come up with a different name for...
Yeah, exactly.
For us.
Like, what was that? I had one lady, and this wasn't directed at me. It was one of those guys who just would not leave her alone.
Oh, God. I hate those.
And, of course, like... me being me, that's one of those of like he got his glass of water, but
it's like that's his first warning is the glass of water.
So not only did I give him the glass of water, I also leaned over and I told him, I was like, hey, it's going to be very important for you in the next 30 minutes to leave her alone.
Yeah.
So I gave him a glass of water and I gave him a timer because that's something that I will not stand for. I will not stand for like harassment or anything else like that. Like, I don't want problems. I want an easy shift. I want to be lazy.
Same.
And the harder you make that for me,
the worse it's going to
be. Yeah, because like, am I still going to take care of the problem? 100%.
Oh yeah.
Am I mad that it is now my problem?
Yes.
1,000%. I do not want that.
Same.
But like, she called him a not black version of John Whitaker, and he should be very disappointed in himself because at least John Whitaker, without the looks, was still able to be successful, and he's still a bum in a dive bar. And I went, free drink? Like,
bitch, I would have bought her too. Damn.
Damn, girl.
But at the same time, like,
and she didn't even acknowledge him. Like, the funny part is this whole time, he is sitting, like, 2 inches from her.
Oh,
like,
God.
Doing the male equivalent of, like, yeah, I've been there. I've done that. Like, let me puff up my chest. As she's, like, having a conversation with another person. She's having this conversation. You can tell, like, it wasn't necessarily, like, a new friendship, but definitely, like, trying to see how close of friends are these girls were trying to be. Like, they were kind of at that point of like, how good of friends are we going? Like, are we going to be besties? Like, let's test the waters.
Right, for real.
So one of the girls was talking about like a hike that she went on, and he's like, that's not even a hard hike, and like is trying to trying to flirt with this girl. And, like, honestly, she handled it before I even had an opportunity to. Like, I gave him the water, I gave him the warning, and then she handled it within the 30 minutes. And I'm like, see, that's why I give you a timer. Is because, like, I still have to be at least somewhat cordial.
Right.
She doesn't work here.
No.
Like, she
can say whatever she wants, because it's not going to affect her, but it will affect me.
I'm also going to be honest with you. She had been one of my regulars for a while. He did not have the parts for her. So I'm like, sir, you are barking up the completely wrong tree.
Like, for real.
She is the meanest lesbian I have ever met.
Right, but also so sweet.
Oh, God, so sweet. And she always smelled like what hopes and dreams are made of.
I know.
And I got the same perfume because I also want to smell like hopes and dreams. And
right?
It does not smell like hopes and dreams on me.
But at the same time, it's like, she was the best. She was so funny. And she came to love us both. I love that, though.
We stand a queen, honestly. But I will also say, though, one of the things that I found that with bartending especially, I have definitely found that almost every bar I have worked at has been haunted. Is it like, does every bar come with a ghost? Like when you're signing the lease for owning this bar or getting your liquor license, is it like, oh, and here is your ghost?
Here's the ghosties!
Here
like, for real.
Celestial guide. Because the first bar that I worked at, like, I understand why that one was haunted. There were like 3 different murders that had taken place there. There was a suicide, and also on top of it, it used to be what was it? I'm trying to remember the actual term. Kind of like a butcher. Like, it was a butcher, but more of like the storefront.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I was going to say, there was a video that I watched about a guy who was a butcher that ended up killing people
Oh,
and
yeah.
putting them in hamburgers. And people
Yeah.
didn't know that they were eating people.
Because he was a street vendor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, that made it even harder for it to trace. Oh, yeah.
For them to trace it because people are consuming humans.
And they don't even know how long he had done it or anything else like
Yeah.
that. They just were only able to trace back the recent ones.
Yeah. It's
But
mainly the most recent because they're like, you know, hey,
Yeah.
this person's missing. They were listing with this person, so they kind of put two and two together. And yeah.
well,
But I didn't realize how dark that was.
like, and I'm not saying like this guy had committed murders or anything else like that. Because the murders that had happened in this bar, they happened when it first became a bar.
Mm-hmm.
So in like the early 1920s, 1930s. But then we moved back to this town.
Right.
And that's when I had started working at my first bar on what we call Bar Row because it's just a street of bars.
And that's like nothing but bars.
Yes. And so I started working at that one and it was vaguely haunted. You knew someone was there because occasionally you would hear someone talk, you would hear footsteps, but like nothing ever moved or you never really seen anything, but it was just like vague hints. But then the second bar that I had gone to, which was the one that I worked with you.
Yes.
That one, you would see things.
Like you could see, you can tell, you can feel.
Yeah, exactly. And also, that one had such a deeper connection with me than the other bars as well, because that was also one that had used to be family owned. And so the family members that did have that, I was close to when I was a young kid, but they passed away when I was a young kid as well.
So
It did have that, like, very much so a deeper tie. But then the last bar that I had worked at was also haunted. But that one, you could definitely be sassy with. Like, you would hear something walking up the stairs, and I'd be like, no, it is 10 a.m. You get to go back down into the depths where you belong.
yeah.
No, you go back downstairs. I am too tired to deal with you right now. I am not a morning person. That's why I keep being a bartender.
Right.
Because I don't do early.
Same.
I am still awake. I have not slept. That is why we are doing early.
Yes. And it's like, I literally set an alarm, but I got woken up because the husband got off work.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, it's hard not to stomp into our room because of our stairs.
Well, yeah, because you've got the hardwood and then the stairs and then...
More hardwood.
Yeah, more hardwood.
So yeah, it's kind of hard not to.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's like, I think he did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Because,
like, hey.
because I mean, I did ask, you know, when we were going to do this so that way we can have time to where you can get a nap in before you have to go to work tonight. And I can because I am hanging out with my sisters later.
Yeah.
But I can't live up on the nephew. And I'm sad.
Because
My stupid coworker got me sick. That's why we're a good distance apart.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to get her sick.
I do not wish to have the plague. I already live with 3 tiny plague bearers. Every time... Because, like,
Because when one gets sick, y'all get sick.
Yeah, and the worst part is it hits me harder than everyone else. Which is stupid.
Exactly.
I get a cold and it knocks me out for a week, and I don't.
I know.
The whole time I've lost my voice. I'm running a fever.
Ugh.
Everything hurts. I'm exhausted.
Especially when we were talking about doing this. We were all excited and everything. I decided to come up with like an intro and an outro and everything else.
Yeah.
And I'm sending her the ideas and I'm not getting any response back. She's like, I'm sorry, I downed like a half a bottle of NyQuil. I've been asleep, blah, blah, blah. And I was like...
I got reincarnated. I lived a whole other life. I am back now to the realm of the living.
And I'm just sitting there just dying like, well, here's my ideas. Like...
Right.
I'll just throw out mine and then eventually you can throw out yours.
And like I've thrown out a few of them, but I will say,
like in between your sleep and between you being dead and alive.
Yeah.
You've thrown out your ideas, which I'm okay with.
Like I'm definitely doing a little bit better now. It gets hard because my work schedule bounces around where my sleep schedule is. So it's never the same thing. Like, I don't have a set schedule or anything else like that.
And that's kind of how I am too
and
right
a lot of the
now.
times I don't even get split days off, or I don't get consecutive days off. A lot of the times they're split. So if
Same.
recordings don't come out always on time, just know I am so sorry. I am the editor. I am tech support. She is the poster.
Yep.
And she also helps guide where a lot of this is going. So at least we've got some solid teamwork here.
Yeah.
I'm tech support. I am a functioning, mostly human. We are getting there.
Eventually, we will get to where we'll be on a set schedule to where we will have it come out consecutively on the same day. So that way it's not, we're going to record this day and it's going to get posted that day, or we're going to try and do it this day and have it on that day.
Like, we have a hopeful schedule that we are looking into.
Yes.
So we are definitely hoping to be able to post on those days, and I'm going to try and make that as humanly possible as I possibly can.
Yeah.
But I also cannot guarantee that, because feels like every time that we have come up with a plan to be able to set up a time frame, your schedule changes or for overtime.
Yeah, something always happens in our daily schedule to where something always happens, but we will try our best to make it to where we're more consistent and not going to be all over the place.
Just work with us until then. Though I will say, because right now we're giving personal accounts.
Yeah.
And these personal accounts are something that are the stories that we have readily available to us, but we want to hear your stories. We're here to be able to read your stories, and I will say, especially when it comes to your stories, we're going to be a lot less sidetracked. The reason we get sidetracked so easily is just because ADHD, but also we know these people. We've also heard these stories 1,000 times because I have.
They're still funny to hear.
I have called you after certain experiences and be like, dude, I am so mad right now, or I am terrified.
Yeah. And it's like, and with us knowing the same people that we've had these experiences happen with us, it's like, did you see? It's like, I got to tell you what this person did, and they're like, he did that to me too, or they did that to me too. So it's like, it's like, well, fine.
But we do have certain inside jokes that come with that. But I will say that also leads to kind of like the circling back of being able to control the environment makes those situations a lot easier. And I feel like that's where we ended up kind of getting a little bit more of an upper hand, because we had that work environment where we were able to control the situations around us and be like, okay,
this person's problem, but they're okay until they get to that point.
Yeah. And then also that comes down to the controlled fear as well. Because I know that me and you coped completely differently when things started getting extra terrifying at our previous workplace.
Yeah. But we still managed to do our job.
Yeah, we still,
even though it was hard,
everything that we were supposed to given the circumstances. But I coped by, well, fine then, I'm going to listen to creepypastas. You can't out-scare me. I can't be scared if I'm going in barrel-chested and like, no, look at me, I'm addicted to the scary.
And then there's me trying to listen to Shane Dawson podcast or his conspiracy theories.
Something funnier and like more uplifting, whereas I'm over here like listening to my creepypasta stories or.
And it's like, and I don't mind creepypastas, but it's like at the same time, it's like, I just want something that's going to make me laugh and everything. So it's like I listen to Shane Dawson or even Markiplier when he was doing his Five Nights at Freddy's.
Listen to Markiplier. That man is just... Oh my God. You can't get scared listening to Markiplier because he is a soothing person.
I know. Like, just the voice alone is soothing. But when he was doing his Five Nights at Freddy's, when I first started watching Markiplier, and he was doing the Five Nights at Freddy's series, like the very first episode.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, honestly, this is going to be good, because my older sister told me about it. So I was like, oh, this is going to be good. And of course, first time I'm ever watching this, well, he's first time playing this. Oh, yeah, it scared the crap out of me.
I will say,
I almost threw my computer off my lap.
If I have a really bad day, or like I'm extra stressed or a little extra depressy, I watch his getting over it videos.
Oh my god.
It's something about...
Especially when he yeets his mouse.
Dude, the chair.
Yes, the
he
chair.
threw the chair and then brought in a dog. And you know what? I'm gonna be honest.
Oh, it
that
was
was me playing
Chica.
any Soulsborne game. Any soul, like, if the game is made to purposely make you mad, it's going to make my blood pressure rise and put me in a bad mood for like 3 days.
Honestly, fair. But no, like, watching his Get Over It series, I mean, it was funny, especially when he's...
Yeah. And so, like,
But
I
it's
did that to cheer up.
But at the same time, it's like, he threw his mouse against his wall. Glad he had the padding, but still, he threw his mouse up against the wall, and then he yeets his chair.
Oh, yeah.
And breaks it, so he has to get himself a new chair, and then he brings in Chica to calm him down, and honestly, I was like, oh, Chica, cheer him up.
And
like, he deserves it.
I have been there. I have definitely had those days where I'm like, if one more thing, like, the texture of everything is wrong, I'm mad, like,
yes.
And then just that one, and it's the smallest thing.
It's always the smallest thing for us.
And I hate that, because, like, I can handle the world imploding.
Yes.
But, God forbid, if my shirt is made of Sherpa.
Ugh.
Or
gross.
Micro, stop doing microfiber.
See, and mine is silk. Mine right now is silky.
Oh, this is the shirt. So,
yeah, ADHD brain's perfect.
I used to wear this shirt. So this is the tank top that I wore all the time that was, I'll fight you. I'll cry about it, but I'm going to fight you. This is that shirt. Do you see?
Yes.
Do you see where it doesn't say that anymore? If that doesn't tell you how much I wore this shirt. It used to have Deku on it. I also
Deku.
have a cup with Deku. And
Right.
I'm not saying that I have a favorite anime character. I'm just saying.
Whatever, you have the hots for Deku.
I don't have the hots for him. I just want to look like him.
Fair.
Because instead, I've got some chunk. But I am a crybaby, and I usually have my hair green. So I got that going for me. Again, fell asleep with dye in my hair. We're starting over from ground zero. We're getting there.
It's honestly looking a lot better than what it did before.
No, I do agree. And it's actually soft now, which is really nice. Because, like, I tried really hard to bring it back from the abysmal place that it was at.
Oh, I know.
And then after a certain point, I realized I could not save it anymore. And that's when I realized, like, I've got to lop it all off. As much as I did not want to.
And even the hairdresser that you went to didn't want to. And she's like, are you sure?
Me and her have the same name. Her name is also Mariah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
So shout out to Mariah. Thank you for always cutting my hair late at night. I super appreciate that.
Honestly though, and she did do a good job. She made it like compliment your
best.
face.
Yeah, she's so sweet. But every time I go in, I feel like I'm giving her a panic attack. Because I come in with like, by the way, we're doing a mohawk and I'm going darker green.
Yep.
Are you sure you want that? Are you sure? Shave the back of my head. I don't care. But then the one time I'm like, I want to keep my hair long, but I messed up real bad. I did a really big
She called, so
bad.
right? Well, she decided that she was going to dye her hair, and I told her, go for it. I mean, it's your hair. Do what you want, you know?
And I wanted to try a different brand and a different color than I always go. Like, I was going from green to purple, which is not a hard transition.
No.
But also, I was using a completely different brand. I usually use a certain brand, but they had discontinued it. And I was like, well, I'll try a different color and a different brand. And then while I was dyeing it, because I did not get very much sleep, because I chose to stay up late and hang out with my partner instead of actually getting...
Instead of getting some sleep, she decided, I'm going to dye my hair.
I'm going to dye my hair, even though I've gotten 2 hours of sleep and just work a full shift.
She messages me and says, I'm going to be dyeing my hair. And I was like, okay, cool. You know, I want to see the final product.
I can't wait to see it.
Can't wait to see it.
It's going to be green. And then I was like, no, it's going to be purple. And you're like, even more exciting.
3 hours later, she's calling me up saying I fucked up.
I'm honestly really glad that I chose, because I was going to because my roots were already green. So I essentially, what I had done, because my hair at that point in time was about here.
Yeah, it's about
I had taken it from about here down and faded the purple into the green, and I was all excited about it.
Honestly, and it looked was going to look amazing until you fell asleep.
Yeah, it was gonna look really cute. But the good news is I had gotten micro bangs, and we're about, I would say about 2 inches,
Yeah,
maybe 3, 2.5, somewhere in there.
2.5.
I don't know, guy inches or girl inches. There's a difference.
I mean, inches are inches, as long as you know how to use them right.
You right?
But and it took a lot to get that out of your hair to...
Oh yeah, it took me about a good 2 hours to actually fully wash it out of my hair. My hair felt like overcooked ramen.
Yes.
And I was like, I can save this. I can make it better. I know better. I know better. I used to be licensed in this. I know better. I know what I'm doing, and you know what? I still messed it up. So
Still.
After a certain point, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna cut it all off. I'm just gonna cut it all out.
Well, that and it did fry your hair, and it made it like... it made it look greasy, even though I knew it wasn't greasy.
Yeah.
But
I
it's
will
like...
say, my natural hair color makes me feel like I look greasy.
But
just because it's that mid color. Because like...
It's in between like a dark brown and a blonde. So it's almost like... I don't know.
But also it's been about 20 years since I have seen my natural hair color.
Yeah.
So, because I think even when I had first met you, I had not seen my natural hair color in...
Yeah, because when we
5
first
years.
met, your
It
hair was
was-
black.
Yeah, I kept it black, so it would go between black and red while I was in high school. And then after high school, I kept it a pastel pink. And then after I got
Coming from a person who hates
married,
pink.
I went that dark green, and then I kept it dark green for about 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I've only done purple a couple of times. I'll go purple. I'll go purple. And you know what? It just...
And then there's me that's had certain... I did dye my hair black once, and that was the biggest mistake of my life with how long my hair is.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I dyed it black once, and it was enough because honestly, by the time I got done dyeing my hair black, I was like a completely different person, or everybody thought I was a completely different person. But at the same time, with me doing my own hair, there was spots.
Oh no.
There was spots, so I
Is this
looked
why
like
you
I had...
recruit me now?
Huh?
Is this why you recruit me now?
Yes.
Okay, that's fair.
But
I got
it's
the
like...
brushes.
Right? But it's like, this was when you were married to that,
Yeah.
and I couldn't call you.
0 out of 10. Marriage would not do again.
That one,
well,
anyway.
We'd get married again.
Just not to that.
No.
No.
I already picked out what I want.
Yes.
I signed a lease.
And it came with extras.
Yeah, I know. 3 carbon copies. Oh my god. You know how I kept joking about wanting the Addams Family life?
You have the Addams Family life.
I have built my own Addams Family. Because I've...
You're Morticia.
Yeah.
Kyle's Gomez.
Yeah.
What's Tony?
That's Uncle Fester. We've already told him he's Uncle Fester. Except
He's
for
just
he
not
has hair.
bald. I was gonna say, he's not bald.
No, he's not bald. He has hair. He's single. Just saying. Just
I
throwing it out
mean...
there. If you want to join our Addams Family, we're actually a delightful bunch. We play a lot of video games.
Da-da-da-da. I had to.
I bring in rocks. I like rocks. I make bread. I do make bread.
Your Amish bread.
Oh, my Amish bread. Oh, my peasant bread, too.
Yes. You still owe me like 3 loaves.
I owe you so much bread.
You
Do you
owe
know
me-
how many people I owe bread? And I'm like, I'll get there. And then I just...
You owe me 3 loaves of your peasant bread, 1 of your lavender bread.
Oh my god, I forgot to make lavender bread.
Huh? And how many of my banana breads have I given you?
4.
Huh? And how many of your pheasant breads and lavender breads have you given me?
1.
Uh-huh.
And it was a Christmas present. Merry Christmas, I made you peasant bread that I owe you.
I made you all the peasant bread that I owe you. But, no, so...
Would you like to pull the card, or do you want me to do the thing where I spread it? Low-hanging fruit. But, no, I do a lot of... Ooh! Oh my god, blue booklet. I need to get better at this.
I don't know why, but that one was calling to me.
Honestly, that's fair. Just so that way everybody can see. Can I... Does the crystal ball help any? No. It does
No.
not. This is the Queen of Goblets. Also, for those of you wondering, love the art on this. This is the Tarot del Toro. So the director, he does Pan's Labyrinth, things like that. Amazing artist, absolutely love him. This deck is all his art.
And honestly, though, the
stunning.
back of it is amazing.
Oh my god, I need to spend more time with this deck. I have one deck I use for like everything, and this one I'm like, I'm gonna bust it out because it's a special occasion, but I know absolutely nothing about it. So we go through the booklet that we found out last time only has the major arcana, so then I still have to Google the minor arcana, which like I should know, but then I get pressure and then I forget all the meanings.
I mean, and that's fair too,
One day I'll get
honestly.
it together. Eventually.
And don't worry, next time I will remember my headphones so you can have yours.
Those are actually Kyle's. These are the ones I'm wearing right now are mine, but
Well, I
because
guess
they're inserts, they're not exactly the most comfortable for long-term wear.
not really. But I guess I'm going to have to thank Kyle for letting me steal his headphones since I forgot mine.
Well, I was gonna let you use these ones, and I was like, these go in my ear holes, and you know,
Yeah, no. Earwax, ew.
yeah.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, I don't have a problem with it, but at the same time, it's like, ugh.
This is the shortest description we have had on a card pull so far.
Seriously?
Queen of Goblets. Water doubles water. Clear thoughts, intentions, and feelings. If it appears inverted, it means these calm waters are delusive. We can drown in them. The idea for this card was inspired by The Strain, and I will say it was upright, so water doubles water, clear thoughts, intentions, and feelings. So, I mean, I guess to be fair, we have been stepping out of our comfort zone a lot more with actually stepping forth and doing the podcast and doing these communications and actually like getting everything set up.
Yeah, and it's like, we never thought we were gonna ever
We never thought we were going to get to this point.
or do anything like this because we've always been scared, especially being on the internet. It's like, especially being on the internet, like, we've always been introverts, and every now and again we'll go out and do stuff, but it's like doing something like this is definitely stepping way out of our comfort zone. I mean, but it's like at the same time, it's like I've always wanted to talk about like my ghost experiences and my crazy Karens, especially working in customer service over the years. I mean, I've been doing it 16 years now, so it's like I've got so many Karen stories.
Because you've got 1 year on me, because I've got customer service for 15 years. And I will say, because I know that this episode was definitely very heavily Karen oriented or like just customer service nightmares in general. And those of you listening, like we all know the nightmares of working in customer service, because as great as everybody wants to make it out to seem, it is something that is very mentally taxing and mentally draining. Also, the Seven of Cups, which is the one that I had pulled. This is the general need to make concise choices and avoid being swept away by illusions or temporary excitement. So it's just, that feels honestly more along the lines of actually make sure that you follow through with your plans, but don't like, it feels more of like trying to be like, hey, I know that you're excited about starting a podcast and actually doing these ventures that you had always wanted to do, but been too scared to like dip your toes into.
Yeah, because
don't quit your job.
Yeah. Well, because we've had a lot of people tell us like,
yeah, and like we've been told before.
We've been told many times that we should because we both have like the attitude, the personality, and the voices for it. But it's like at the same time, it's like, do we really want to do this? Like,
yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I honestly love doing stuff like this because it's like,
yeah. It's kind of like screaming into the ether, but also simultaneously being heard. Because we want you to be able to scream into the ether, and we'll communicate those stories. We have commentary and everything else like that.
Yeah, and eventually we'll have to figure out how to set up like a phone number or something for them to call and send us voicemails, and then have them or figure out a way for you guys to like actually tell us your story, and we'll just play it so that way you're telling the story instead of us reading the story.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to figure something like that out.
Oh yeah, and like I would happily be able to tell any like your Karen stories, ghost stories, anything else like that.
Or just get whatever you want off your chest. I mean, we're not going to judge.
I'm going to be honest with you. I have absolutely no idea what this card means.
Honestly, I'm scared because both of these cards are on the same page.
Yeah, so they're actually a suit. So she pulled the King of Goblets, and this one is inverted.
So I got both the King and the Queen of Goblets.
Yeah.
But he's upside down. So I'm scared.
Water mitigate the flames, kind, empathetic, use of power, magnanimity. If inverted, we have perhaps found a twisted leader or a dark father as evil as the vampire from The Strain, who the card depicts. And just so you guys know, there's always going to be a manipulative source.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's also one where concise communication and things like that, that's something that can be easily avoided. But there's always going to be someone who's going to try and weasel it. Now, do I feel like this applies to this situation? Not so much.
No.
But, if you're getting a new coworker, we don't like them.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Oh, what, like the last 3?
Right. So I've pulled 2. You've pulled 1.
Right, okay, let's see what we've got.
So I got the King and Queen of Goblets. You've got cups.
I know. I mean, technically, all of these are cup suits.
That is...
Now, I do have an idea of what the Ten of Cups is, just because that was one that, I got excited about.
Plus, I think we pulled that one last time, too, didn't we?
Yes. Oh, yes, that is actually one. Because the Ten of Cups is one that I get super excited about every time it comes up. But I always try to double check my sources because even though I grew up being taught how to tarot read and being able to look through these, I enjoy being able to look through my sources so that way I'm able to get a full story. I have been an active tarot reader for going on 10 years now, but I've been actively practicing for about 15 or so, but a lot of those I've been testing on close friends and family. And then for a hot minute, my go-to to get extra tips was if you buy a beer, you get a free tarot reading, and if they like their tarot reading, you come out with good money. But for those of you who do not know, the Ten of Cups in tarot represents emotional fulfillment, deep connection, and lasting happiness, particularly within family and close relationships. It signifies a harmonious environment where individuals feel loved, supported, and part of a strong community. When the Ten of Cups appears, it suggests a period of contentment and joy where one's needs and desires are being met. And you know what? I'm here for that. If this is something that's going to be coming to fruition, that would be super nice because at the end of the day, this is something that we are doing as a fun hobby or side project. But honestly, if this is also something that we could make bigger and expand and be able to have a whole community on, and something that, and I hate to phrase it this way, but this is also, let's be honest, it's the end goal of everyone who wants to try and do entertainment.
Yeah.
But I want to be able to do a living off of this. I want to be able to
do this as a side thing.
Yes.
I mean, we still have our normal jobs, but then have this as something that we just do for fun. I mean, if we can get a day to where we're both together and can record, and then
things start becoming more consecutive, more concise, and more communicative. Because I know that right now, this is a hobby. This is something fun. But I also know that hobbies and fun things can also tend to grow, and that's my hope.
That can turn into something more than just a hobby.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there are people out there that do this as a full-time job.
Yeah. And I don't know if I would want to do this as a full-time job, but if this is something that I do find that, kind of gives that boost where I know that that's something that I've always wanted to do.
Yeah.
Then, 100%, because I never really thought of the aspect of what I would be doing in my future.
Right.
I had vague ideas, hence why I got the degree I did. But before I got the degree, I became a licensed cosmetologist. And, before that, I was, supervisor at a hotel. And just a culmination of things of, trying to figure out where I want to be. And so far, nothing has felt like it has fully made a connection with me. But I do hope that this is something that we can actually use as a platform to be able to boost others and also be able to build up ourselves as well.
Because it's like, we're not looking to do this as like a full-time thing.
Yeah, no. I never count my chickens before they hatch, essentially, because I don't ever expect this to be a full-time career thing, but if it's something where I can get a little bit more time to be able to make bread.
Exactly. Since you owe me bread.
Mm-hmm.
Rude.
I make a lot of bread, and then most of it just sits there because I either forget about it or I start it and then do other stuff and forget that it exists. Okay, the Seven of Swords in tarot in general signifies cunning strategy and resourcefulness. It can indicate using one's intelligence to navigate challenges or achieve goals, sometimes through unconventional or even deceitful means. So I don't feel like either of us are... I feel like this whole time we've been very clairvoyant about what our wants are.
Yeah, I mean, like, we want to do this as like a hobby or a side thing, but we're not going to have it as like a full-time thing.
No.
Unless people want us to have this as a full-time thing, then we will make that happen.
But just like Sesame Street, help comes from viewers like you.
But at the same time, it's like, we're still going to keep our everyday jobs.
Oh, yeah.
So
we still have to work around those schedules and things like that of what we need to accomplish. Because at the end of the day, as much as this is something that we've been timid to start and excited to start, this is also something that we finally got to this point. We are finally here.
Yeah, like, because we did talk about it. We did talk about wanting to start a podcast a long time ago.
We've been talking starting either like a podcast or a YouTube channel or something culminating with the times for like the last 10 years. Like, we've had discussions like this for a while. I even had regulars trying to suggest, oh, why do you guys do stand-up comedy? And da-da-da-da. And it's like, because I can only do that for certain amounts of time.
Same.
And you know what? I will take those certain amounts of time and I will do what I can.
Yeah.
But I will also say, with that being said, this is kind of one of those things of, it is starting off as a hobby and it's something that I am glad that we're finally doing and something that I have actually thoroughly enjoyed this whole experience.
Yeah.
Like, so far, outside of scheduling conflicts, this has been absolutely delightful.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, between your schedule and my schedule, of course, my schedule's always changing. But it's like, between our schedules, it just, I thoroughly enjoy this. Yeah, my husband's a smarty pants when it comes to...
Yeah.
I mean, I thoroughly enjoy doing this because it's like, I've always been scared to talk about stuff like this and not
sound like a crazy person
exactly
screaming on the side of the corner of the street or anything like that.
Yeah,
but also
because
being front facing, I feel like that also gives us the confidence to be able to have that conversation. Because not only are we having that conversation with ourselves, we're having the conversation
with them. Because it's like even though you guys ain't here, but it's like we're still having that conversation, and you guys can give us your feedback. You guys can tell us your stories or how you feel about these situations. And honestly, I did feel for a minute there like I was going crazy because I was telling my mom about the Mandela effect.
Yeah.
And it's like, and exactly, at first she didn't believe me. And I was like, okay, we'll make one super, super simple. Fruit of the Loom.
It had a cornucopia.
Thank you. But apparently, no, it never had a cornucopia. Yeah. It had a cornucopia, but now it's no longer the cornucopia with the fruit. It's just the fruit. They took away the cornucopia.
Oh, look, there's my spruce. But I would also say, just because we're starting to hit that point now where we have been discussing for a while. But again, if you would like to be able to send in any stories or anything else like that, we have an email set up and you can remain anonymous. You can drop names if you want. Just know that when it comes to the other people involved, we may not use names, but we might use acronyms like first letters and stuff like that, because I'm not going to drop a name without consent.
Or we will change the name. Like, if you put their name in there, but if we don't feel comfortable using their name, we will call them a different name. Yeah. But you guys will know who that person is, but the
Okay,
listeners will
yeah.
not know.
So, like, we do want you to still have that certain amount of anonymity as well.
Yeah, because if you want to remain anonymous, so if you want to be anonymous, we will give you a different name. We'll call you
Yeah.
Bob or Jim or
even
Sandy or Sally or whatever. Like, you could tell us your name. We won't name drop you, but we will try and change your name that fits with the first letter of your name. Or
I
just
will
change
say-
it completely.
Because we do have the email set up. So the email for you to be able to send these submissions to is babesandbanshees@gmail.com. So pretty simple, pretty easy, Babes and Banshees. And I'm Mariah.
I'm Shaylin.
And this is Babes and Banshees. And you know what? You guys have yourself a wonderful day. And don't get kidnapped.